There's a reason why you've probably never heard of the 1978 arcade hit Byte Driver. If you talk to developers Vector Hat, they'll tell you that it's because the type of oscilloscope that was used was notoriously finicky and prone to failure. Most Byte Driver units were out of service by the end of the 1980s, and many historians believe that there are no cabinets still in working order. Of course, the real reason you've probably never heard of Byte Driver is because it never existed, and the whole backstory is an elaborate ruse. But what's impressive is that the old school look and throwback gameplay will probably trick more than a few people, and that's just one of the reasons why this new racing game is worth playing. If you go based on the official story, then this is a loving recreation of a long-lost classic. It's not, but Byte Driver definitely looks and feels like it came out in the earliest days of the arcades. It uses simple vector graphics to create a speedy little racing game where the focus is placed on hacking the opponents and using their weapons against them. It's basically Road Blasters meets Watch Dogs. The goal is to survive through 5 challenging stages before your car runs out of energy. The problem is that simply accelerating will use up energy, so you'll need to suck the juice out of your opponent's cars in order to stay alive. You do this by hacking into the different cars, either by getting up right behind them or sending a little drone to do all the hard work. Once you've hacked into the system, you can either take some of their energy or use it to upgrade your handling and traction. There's also the option to steal the enemy's weapons, including lasers, missiles, and EMP tires that'll cause everybody to go flying off the road. These weapons become incredibly handy when you're going up against the game's multiple bosses, like the giant truck, bike gang, or creepy van. And to make the next stage even harder, those bosses will get tossed right on the road with the rest of the cars. It's probably worth reiterating that this is a tough game. It's designed to be punishing, sometimes to the point of feeling unfair. Between the enemy cars, the sniper towers, the helicopter shooting missiles, and the landmines all over the track, there are a whole lot of obstacles you're going to have to learn how to avoid. Couple that with the need to hack for energy, and Byte Driver becomes a challenging juggling act that can devolve into chaos in a blink of an eye. The good news is that there's a stage select, so you won't need to start over from the beginning every time you crash. Now, if we're going to get technical, Byte Driver doesn't always feel like a game released in 1978. The graphics and hacking mechanics are more advanced than you would expect at the time, especially when compared to the similarly titled Night Driver. Minor nitpick aside, this is a great example of a game going all out to emulate the spirit of those old arcade racers. Byte Driver is one of the few throwback games to perfectly nail the feel and aesthetics. There's no question that it's one of the most unique racing games you're going to play this year. At the same time, I can't help but feel like Byte Driver's appeal may be short-lived. Not unlike a lot of arcade games from the early days, this is the kind of racer you can beat in 1 or 2 short sittings. Unless you're looking to compete for high scores or want to toy around with the graphics modes, there isn't a whole lot to do after you beat the 5 stages. That's not a deal breaker considering the budget price. Don't go into this expecting a bunch of different modes and hidden extras to unlock. This is a game that wants to accurately recreate a 1978 game that never existed. And you know what? That's exactly what it does. Although a bit more advanced than the fictional backstory lets on, Byte Driver is a clever throwback racer where you have to hack to survive. It's a loving tribute that doesn't just evoke the spirit of some of the earliest arcade racing games, it actually adds to the formula in a number of creative ways. This is one of the few times when I wished that a game's made-up meta story was actually true. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now here's the question I have for you. What's your favorite era of racing game? Are you a fan of the old 8-bit Rad Racer days? Or maybe the Ridge Racer stuff on the PlayStation? Let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, I'm currently hard at work on a bunch of new reviews, as well as a brand new quiz series and a few returning shows. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,